Another story for today, something that has been worrying me, and AJ, you alluded to this earlier, talking about when you have the highest paid defense coming into this season, and I get it, you lost TJ Watt, like you had said, but the highest paid defense should be able to have enough depth to be making stops. But how can this defense be expected to perform effectively when the offense is not possessing the ball long enough to give them a dang break? I mean, these numbers are definitely concerning. I mean, what do you guys think? There has to be a reason that the defense has been so uninspiring without TJ Watt, right? Or do you simply just think Watt is the reason, and how can the offense help the defense?
So they're averaging 25 minutes basically per game, and we talked about it last week. They had, I mean, we talk about the defense being on the field the entire time, but they had a big break last week in Cleveland. I mean, we pointed that out. I mean, but the offense, it just goes back, the time of possession goes back to that 1-and-9 stat of third downs. The offense has to keep the drives going.
And they're not getting themselves in third and long and third and problematic. These are 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 5s. Even 3rd and 6, I think, in the NFL anymore is a pretty manageable down and distance, and they don't have the plays. As far as is the defense's, struggle connected to that, Hannah, the time of possession, yes, in part. TJ Watt, though, to go back to where we started the show, he's the ultimate Jenga piece, right? You take him out, suddenly everything else falls apart and looks a lot worse. There are guys like that in the NFL. Aaron Donald to some degree, although they still have Jalen Ramsey and some other guys. But Watt might be the most singular non-quarterback piece that when you remove him from an equation, everything else starts to struggle.
Ordinary.
I'll just add that over those first 3 weeks, time of possession, if you average it out, like you said, Rich, but that's dead last in the league. No other team has this sort of deficit with their offense and defense. So this is something that even if they solve this week, they have to find a way to consistently even it out, because it's such a long season now. And you can't expect to make a playoff push, if that's even wishful thinking at this point, if you're going to have your defense out there but so long.
But before we send it back to Hannah, I mean, all you guys, look at the defense. Without TJ Watt, they still have playmakers. AJ, you talked about Minka. We talked about Cam Hayward.
Aging playmakers,
yeah, but they still have guys that can make plays. Maybe guys that you counted on to make plays aren't making plays, like Devin Bush. He's played better.
He's an ordinary football player, though.
He's an ordinary football player. Alex Highsmith, he leads the NFL in sacks. But what is he doing?
Here's the thing. I can't even say that I was trying to bust your chops with ordinary there, because honestly, at his best, what Devin Bush resembles is an ordinary football player. So they have one superstar. They have one guy in Minka that's superstar adjacent. They have a guy in Cam Hayward who's been a warhorse well into his 30s. But beyond that, it's some solid players, but not really spectacular.
Hannah?
I've been impressed with Miles Jack to this point. I'll push back a little bit on that.
What about Cam Sutton? I was going to throw his name out there, too.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. So you're not moving with the ordinary this week. I appreciate it.
Listen, the bottom line is they have guys. They have to prove that these other guys can play, or else, I don't know, you're going to be getting a lot of question marks as to why these guys are getting paid so much. If you've been following along with Inside the Huddle, you understood the Jenga piece reference that Chris Mahler had as well, and we found out at this point it is TJ Watt. So good that that all circled back around, but we want to know what else you think. Are the Steelers going to get in the end zone? How are they going to be able to do that? And is the defense going to get off the field? Tweet us at KDK Sports. More Inside the Huddle when we come back.